Hello there, welcome back to the Ogre, the old Git Reacts, Reviews and Off Times and Reminiscences. Now, very often I'm looking for new music. I just trawl through Bandcamp by and large. There are um, sites on YouTube that present new music, which are invaluable to me in finding it. But very often I'll be sort of trawling Bandcamp. And one thing I've learned is never to judge a book by its cover. So, you can see an album cover which is the most devilish, satanic and sort of blasphemous art you could possibly imagine. You'll click on it and be bored shitless by it, and it doesn't it alludes to what the album cover, but it doesn't meet the promise of it. And then there's band names, and again, you have to be a bit careful about judging a band name or artist name by what it is. When I saw Modern Rites as a artist name, for some reason it just conjures up new romantic music from the 80s. Of course, I knew it wouldn't. Well, I didn't know, but I suspected it wasn't going to be as such. So I clicked on the sample track, regardless. And as is not often the case, but enough times to be pleasing to be the case, I quite enjoyed what I heard. And so for Modern Rights, yes, it was a purchase. So again, don't judge a book by its cover or its name. So we'll have a listen to Veil of Opulence and see what we think, shall we? Aye. So the intro to this song is what makes music worthwhile. It's worth having hearing for, and it wouldn't be too much of an exaggeration to say it makes me cock a hoop. And so yes, straight away I am in a happy place. Now, somewhere on the tin on the website for this. It mentions it being industrialized or industrial black metal. It's not so obvious on this track, to be honest. And I always struggle really sometimes when these descriptors are used to see if to see where that comes in. But there are tracks that certainly allude to more industrial metal influence on the black metal, if you like. But the whole album is enjoyable. But I've picked one of my favourites, obviously. Why would I not? And the artists involved in this are people you probably know. So if you know them and like them, you won't be surprised that the output here is to your liking. something very pleasing about this song, this album, in fact, but this song in particular. And it's that sort of when the drums are kicking off good and proper. And it's a thing with lots of music, but black metal particularly does it well. It is when you have a slow melody riding atop thundering drums. It's a technique that works very well in providing that contrast. Just emphasises the pace really, and therefore makes me very happy. Now, a thought came to me whilst I was listening to this, that when my enjoyment of black metal in particular, but black metal in particular, works with other extreme genres as well, but particularly black metal is I find myself driving along increasingly nowadays, driving along single track roads, your country roads, little lanes where the state of the road isn't best. It's sort of a little bit bumpy, and there are potholes, and you're verging on farm tracks really for a lot of the music I enjoy most nowadays. But every now and again you sort of detour onto a main road and listen to or drive along roads that are better constructed, and this is really where modern rites sit for me. They are a main road, well maintained, sort of a dual carriageway if you like, but there's still rough sections in there, and they still have a little bit of a smoke to them, and it's very rare nowadays that I'll venture onto a motorway, because they're sterile and boring, aren't they? And so there are very, very few, particularly black metal artists who I enjoy, who use really, really good production techniques and very clear. I suppose there's an argument for some as to whether black metal should ever be clear. But the point I'm perhaps trying to make, I never think these things through before I start, but the point I'm trying to make is that modern rites are on that sort of Goldilocks zone between the really rough roads, rough tracks, and the motorway. They incorporate the best of both. Now, I've just said that motorways are boring and too sterile, but what I mean in here is that the production here is enough to give it some meat, rather than the more sort of lo-fi stuff that I seem to be listening to more and more of nowadays. We got there in the end, I think. it's a measure of bands that fall into the sphere of my liking, if you like. That what they do when they're going slower. Now, if a band I like is playing fast, then I really couldn't be happier. Really, no, can't think of a situation where I could be happier. I can, but no. The but it's when they drop the pace. It's what they do then that counts for me very often. And bands that avoid dreaded breakdowns. I mean, in black metal, breakdowns aren't as prevalent as other genres, but nonetheless, that sort of chuggy bollocks really gets on my nerves. So, for example, here there was a use of a riff which was basically like what shall we say? What shall we say? It was very abrasive and flecked with a froth of acid. It's sort of you know, you'd have to put it on something. You'd probably have to suspend it between magnets to stop it touching anything because it would just burn straight through. Yeah, that's what that riff reminded me of. Bit like they do with fusion reactors to stop the plasma touching the sides. They contain it with magnets, don't they? And that was the caustic burning nature of that riff. I might be over-egging it a bit, but we're not far off with that. So, excuse me. So yeah, so yeah, so it maintained interest. It sort of wasn't just not prelude, an interlude between the good bits. It was a good bit itself. Yeah. So there you go. I didn't even mind the drift out at the end there because it was dreamy, and half the times nowadays I find myself in another place if I'm not concentrating. So yes. Another thing about this song and the album in general is it's got depth to it. It's not. It is a thick broth of music. You know, you're not talking about gruel here. It is. You know, there is. I say that depth to it. So nothing to dislike at all about the whole album, really. So there you go. Can't think of anything else to say at this particular moment in time. And do I need to? No, I don't. So clicky bollocks. Catch you all next time. Cheerio.